Hello everyone. In this video we are going to understand the concept of forward rate interest, or I can say forward interest rate, and subsequently in the next video probably we'll go for the concept of forward rate agreement. Now, what are basically forward interest rates? So when we go to any banker, or whenever we look at the rate of interest, we often find that the rate of interest is not constant for all the terms. So maybe you just go to a bank and you find that the terms of interest are as follows, where there will be the time period of investment and the banker will provide you some rate of interest. So maybe if you go ask the banker that I want to make a fixed deposit for 1 month, the banker will quote you a rate of interest as suppose 4.5%. Now mind it, this 4.5% is 4.5% per annum. Then if you say I want to make a deposit of 2 months, you will get a rate of interest. The banker may give you rate of interest as 4.6% per annum. If you ask for a 3-month FD, the rate of interest may be 4.7%, just an hypothetical numbers, because based on these hypothetical numbers we are going to understand what are the forward interest rates. So similarly we have 4-month, 5-month and 6 months rate of interest. So let's say 4 months it's 4.75% per annum. Then we have, let's say, 4.8% per annum, and 6 months rate of interest is suppose 5%. So here our yield, or I can say the rate of interest, is increasing. This is increasing along with the duration of the time. But mind it, this rate of interest are all per annum rate of interest. So that doesn't mean that for every 100 rupee invested you will get 4.5 as the interest for 1 month. No, that's going to be proportionately considered for 1 month. Now when we have such a rate of interest, when we have such rate of interest 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4, 5, 6 months, now all these rates are basically called as spot rates. These are spot rates of interest, or I can say spot rate of interest. That is, if you make a deposit today, or if you take a loan today for 1 month, then the rate of interest applicable to you will be 4.5%. Then if you want to make a deposit for 3 months, the rate of interest applicable will be 4.7%. If you want to make it for 5 months, rate of interest will be 4.8%. So in this way, these all are the spot rates. Now what do you mean by these spot rates? Basically, spot rates means deposit or loan to be made today. It means simply the deposit or the loan to be made today. That is, on the spot you're going to make the deposit or you're going to take a loan, and for that these are the rate of interest that are applicable. Now apart from this spot rate of interest, we have another concept which we call as a forward interest rate. Now what are basically forward interest rates? So let's go for another example to understand what this forward interest rates are. Suppose you go to a banker and you ask the banker the various rate of interest, and the banker quotes you rate of interest in terms of months. So it says that for a 3-month loan or a deposit, the rate of interest is maybe let's say 6%. For a 6-month deposit or a loan, the rate of interest is suppose 6.5%, and for a 9-month loan or deposit, let's say it is 7%, and for a 12-month loan, let's say the rate of interest is 8%. Okay, so these are, again, as I told you, these are the spot rates. So these rates I am talking of in terms of spot rates. Now from these spot rates, we want to compute something called as the forward interest rates. The forward interest rates. Now what are those forward interest rates basically? So let's try to simply understand it. Here, if I just draw a chart for our better understanding, we can say that if I consider this timeline, over here we are at 0, then 3 months, 6 months, 9 months and 12 months. So basically, from when you take a loan from 0 to 3 months, the rate of interest is 6%. When you take a loan from today till 6 months, or when you make a deposit from today till 6 months, the rate of interest is 6.5%. Similarly, if you take a loan till 9 months, it's 7%. And finally, if we take it from 0 to 12, or for a full year, the rate of interest applicable is 8%. So in all these cases, as we said, these are spot rates, that is, you need to make the deposit today or you want a loan today. But what if it's a situation that you want to borrow or deposit on a future date? So if I ask you, what will be rate of interest for an investment to be made after 3 months for 3 months? So remember, I am not asking for the rate of interest for the deposit today, but rather I want to make a deposit after 3 months. Let's say I want to make a deposit of 100 rupees after 3 months, and I want to realize that maturity for after another 3 months. So basically, we can say here the loan actually runs from the 3rd month till 6th month. So I'm asking for this rate of interest. So this essentially means that investment made on 3rd month and realized on 6th month. So I'm asking for this particular rate of interest where the investment will be made on the 3rd month and it is going to be realized on 6th month. So that is the rate that I'm asking for. So obviously this is not a spot rate, this is definitely a forward rate. Where we say that the rate of interest I'm asking for, not a investment to be made today, but the investment is going to be made after 3 months for next 3 months. So I want this rate of interest. What should be the rate of interest that the banker should offer me? For this particular deposit? So let's try to understand the reasoning or the logic for this, and then we can definitely come up with a simple formula to compute any such forward rate. So remember, we may have a forward rate from 3rd month to 6th month as we are looking for over here. We may have it from 3rd month to 9th month. We may have from 3rd month to 12th month. We may have it from 6th to 9th or 6th to 12th. We may even have from 9th to 12th. Okay. So let's have a look. Let's understand what could be the reasoning for this. What could be the logic for this? Okay. So suppose if I invest rupees 100, or let me just take it as rupees 1, invest rupees 1 for 6 months, what will be the maturity after 6 months? What will be the maturity after 6 months? So basically what we will do is, so this is 1 is the principal amount, plus also I'll be getting some interest on it. So that's basically 1 plus this 1 rupee multiplied by 6 months. The rate of interest is 6.5%, right? And half year का interest, so half year का interest 6 months है, तो divide by 2. So our 1 rupee becomes 1 into 6.5%. That's basically 3.25. So that becomes 1.0325. 1.0325 is the amount or the maturity value of 1 rupee after 6 months. Next, I look for what will be the maturity value for rupees 1 invested today for, let's say, 3 months. So the maturity after 3 months, that's going to be 1 plus 1 into 6% divided by 4 because it's a quarter. So that becomes 1.015. Okay, fine. So it means, simply understood, that rupee 1 over here becomes rupee 1.05 over here, whereas rupee 1 over here becomes rupees 1.0325. So now my simple question to you is, this 1 rupee is becoming 1.015 over here, and this 1 rupee is becoming 1.0325 over here. So definitely I just want to know over here that what is the rate at which this rupee is actually growing. So basically we can say over here this was growing at 6% per annum, and therefore it became 1.015. The other side, this was growing at 6.5% per annum, and therefore it became 1.0325. So my concern, or I just want to know, at what rate is my 1.015 is growing such that it becomes this number, or I can say such that it simply becomes 1.0325 at the end of the 6th month. And that rate is something which we have to find, at what rate is it really growing, and that rate itself is our forward rate. So if I ask you, interest from 3rd month to 6th month, we can say it is 1.0325 minus 1.015, because till 3rd month it is 1.015. If I invest it for 6 months, then I am getting this much extra. So basically the interest rate for this 3 months is actually the difference between both. So the interest that we are earning is simply 0.0175. But remember this interest 1.0175 this is earned, can I say, for 3 months. This interest of 0.0175 is earned for 3 months. This is earned for just 3 months. I want an annualized figure. I just want an annualized figure like we have over here. So if I just want the rate of interest that we are earning, so I'll say rate of interest from 3rd month to 6th month, that is simply equal to 3rd month to 6th month. That is simply, I can say the interest that I'm earning is 0.0175 divided by, now this interest is earned for 3 months. Only after this, first 3 months get matured. So this is earned on a principal of 1.015, because 1 became 1.015 at the end of 3rd month, and then from 3rd month onwards it became 1.0325. So I want to know at what rate it has grown during this time frame. So I get this answer as 0.0175 divided by 1.015 as 0.01724. Now this translates to basically 1.724%, but I cannot call this as a percentage per annum. This is percent per quarter. So if I want a annualized rate, that should be simply 1.724 into 4 per annum. To make it a per annum figure, I make this as 1.724 into 4. That's basically 6.896%. So in short, if I just want to present this, I can say here we have 0, 3 month and 6 months. So from 0 to 3, the rate of interest applicable is 6%. Then from 0 to 6th month, we have the rate of interest as 6.5%, and we just calculated that the rate of interest from 3rd month till 6th month, that is 6.896%. That is 6.896%. That is from 3rd month to 6th month. And this rate of interest, this typical rate of interest, 6.896, is what we call as forward interest rate, or we always call it as simply as forward rate. Now the forward rate, we are going to call it as 3 by 6. 3 by 6, it means the forward rate 3 by 6, we have got a special meaning of this. 3 by 6 means commence at 3rd month and end at 6th month. So we are going to say that it commences at 3rd month and it ends at the 6th month. So that is what basically we mean by the forward rate. And I've just given a long cut method to calculate this forward rate by detailed explanation or detailed calculation of the rate of interest. But apart from that, we do have a short formula. We do have a shortcut formula for computing this forward rate. Let me just show you how do I do it. So basically what we were looking at is 3-month rate of interest. We were looking at the 3-month rate of interest as being 6%, 6-month rate of interest being 6.5%. So we have seen this rate of interest that we have 3 months ka rate of interest as 6%, 6 month ka rate of interest as 6.5%. So if I want a forward rate of 3 by 6, basically what we can simply do is the formula, or I can say, let me just name those terms as this is our rate of interest for 3 months. and this is the rate of interest for 6 months. So basically I'll say 1, the numerator part, let me just write it over here to make it a proper formula. Let me call this as F6, sorry, let me call it as R6, that is 6 months rate of interest, and this has R3, which is 3-month rate of interest. So if I want a forward rate 3/6, I'll have to make this as 1 plus R6, that is the rate of interest for 6 months, but I need to adjust this for 6 months time period, so that will be into 6/12 upon 1 plus R3 into 3/12. So this is the first thing that we'll have to do, and then I'll have to multiply this further to make it a annualized figure. But before multiplication, I'll have to do -1, and then the whole thing will be multiplied by 12 divided by 6 minus 3. That's the 6th month and 3rd month. So basically, if I want, let me just make it, let me just calculate it, and then I'll just come up with a generalized formula. So here we have this as 1 plus 0.06 multiplied by 6/12 upon 1 plus 0.065 into, oh my bad, it should be 0.065 in the numerator and 0.6 in the denominator, into 3/12 -1, then the whole multiplied by 12 upon 3. So if you just work out with this, you will get the exact 6.96%, and that's going to be the same as this number what we have got earlier. You can just check out with the calculator, you will get the same answer, or maybe some round of error may be there, because we have, while computing here, we have taken only up to 3 decimals, so that could be the reason for some small minor difference. Otherwise should be getting very much close as this answer. So now if I want to come up with a more generic formula for this, so let me just show up a generic formula for this. So if I want, suppose we want a forward rate as m/n term, that is in terms of months, m/n terms. So that should be going, just try to draw a balance from this particular formula itself. So we may have this as 1 plus R, look out over here, there we had R6, so obviously we have Rn over here, so 1 plus Rn upon 1 plus Rm, but as I say, these were adjusted for the time period, so I need to even adjust this, so that's going to be into n/12, and this also into m/12. This whole expression will be reduced by 1, and then this fully will be multiplied by 12 upon n minus m. So this is basically the formula for computing the forward rate. This is the formula for computing forward rate when we have the rate of interest in months term, and I want to calculate the forward rate for the future transactions. So suppose if I have, let's have a look at some more examples. Let's say we have 3-month rate of interest as 6% and 9-month rate of interest as suppose 7%, and I'm looking for a forward rate of 3/9. I'm looking for a forward rate of 3/9. Now this forward rate of 3/9, simply means that you want to make a deposit, or you want to take a loan at the end of 3rd month, and you want to close it or accept the maturity or repay the loan, whatever the case it is, at the end of 9th month. So this forward rate is basically for a time period of 6 months. So you don't want to take a loan or make an investment today, rather you want to do the same at the end of 3rd month, and it is going to be closed by the 9th month. So we have the rate of interest available for us from here till here as 6%, from here till here, that is till 9th month, as 7%, and we are now asking for this rate of interest from 3rd month till 9th month. Let's just apply the above formula. Let's just apply this formula that we have just derived for forward rate M by N. I'll just apply the formula and get the answer, and also I'll do it by the long cut way also. So if I apply the formula, I should be simply getting the answer as 1 plus R9, that is rate of interest for 9 months, which is 7%, so 0.07 into N by 12, N is 9 by 12, upon 1 plus 0.06 into 3 by 12, 1.06, sorry, 1 plus 0.06 into 3 by 12. The whole is going to be minus 1 into this entire expression after subtracting with 1 as we go with the formula. That should be further multiplied by 12 upon N minus M, which is 9 minus 3 over here, which is coming out to be 6. So if you just calculate it, we have 0.07 into 9 divided by 12 plus 1 divided by 1.015 minus 1 into 12 divided by 6. So that's basically 7.39%. This is the forward rate for 7.39%. That is, if you want to fix your rate of interest after 3 months, you want to fix your rate of interest at some rate that after 3 months you're worried that the rate of interest may fall or it may rise. So if it rises, then it may not be favorable for you if you want to borrow. So you just want to fix that rate, and for that you can say that 7.39% is something which should be fixed right now depending on the current interest rate structure. Similarly, if I just want to convert it in terms of the other logical way of understanding, my rupee 1 will become 1.5 at the end of 3rd month, and I want to know at what rate is it really growing, so that it becomes, after 9 months we directly have this as 7% for 9 months. So that becomes 1.0525. This becomes 1.0525. 1.0525. So I want to know what is the rate at which it is really growing, so that it becomes this much. That's 1.0525. So by traditional method we can say the interest earned for 3rd to 9th month, that is 1.0525 minus 1.015. So the interest is 1.0525 minus 1.015, which is 0.0375, and if I want to convert it in terms of rate of interest, I need to divide it by 1.015 into, I want to convert it in terms of full year, so into 12 by 6 So that becomes 7.39%. That becomes 7.39%. So basically, even if you use a long cut method, you get the same answer. So that's how we compute the rate of interest for a future deposit or a future loan. And for that, we have this typical formula which we have to use for computing the forward rates. This is the formula that we have to use for computing the forward rates. I just repeat the formula. Forward rate of m by n. Now when we say m by n, it means we want to make a deposit or a loan after m months that will be closed after n months. So the formula is 1 plus Rn into n by 12 plus, sorry, that is upon 1 plus Rm into m by 12 minus 1. The whole, to make it an annualized figure, we just make it as into 12 by n minus m. So that's how we get the forward rate. Now you can just practice out some more things over here in the first example that we have got. That I've just taken it up over here. See, so we have over here this chart. So in our discussion we have computed how do we get the rate of interest from third month to sixth month. Similarly, you can just practice out for 6th to 9th. You can practice out from 3rd to 12th. You can even practice out from 3rd to 9th. You can even practice out 6th to 12th. You can even practice out from 9th to 12th. So there are multiple ways by which you can calculate the forward rates. So I just want to repeat again, these forward rates of interest are the rate of interest for a transaction or for a loan or a deposit to be undertaken on a future date and not on the current date. Whatever you can do on the current date, that is determined on the basis of spot rates. So today if you go to bank and you ask that I want to make a 3-month deposit, the banker will say, okay sir, welcome, you will be offered a 6% rate of interest. But then the moment I say, no, I don't want to make the deposit now, I will be making the deposit after 3 months for 3 months. Then the banker will simply ask you, okay sir, so you need the forward rate of interest from 3rd month till 6th month, and the banker is going to give you, or banker is going to offer you some rate, and the basis for computation of that rate, the logic for computation of that rate which will prevail from 3rd month till 6th month is this, what we have discussed in the previous sections. And the banker will offer you this 6.96% or I think this was 6.89%, my bad, that's 6.896%. okay, and I think there's a mistake over here also. Yeah, this will be 6.896. okay, so that's a small mistake we had here. 6.896 is the rate you will get even by using this formula, and the formula for computing forward rate is here in front of it. So let's stop here with this video for the computation of forward rate and the formula for it. In the next video we will have the discussion on forward rate agreement and how those forward rate agreements are settled in the practical life. Thank you everyone. Let's go for the next video, which will teach us how do we settle, or how the forward rate agreements are settled amongst the parties.